Hey guys, it's Edwin here, and I hope you are having a wonderful week. Today, I'm going to talk about why we get stuck in pain or the comfort zone of familiar pain. You see, at the core of our being, we all want to be free of pain, we all want to live happy lives, but of course, along the way, we go through some negative or some painful experiences, and these painful experiences actually they alter or they change our perception of reality. So, we may experience emotional pain in life, and some of us may bounce back from this emotional pain, but some of us may get stuck with it till it becomes part of our identity. Like most of us may find ways to resolve that pain, but most of us may get stuck in that pain. So you may get stuck to the point where instead of moving towards a solution, or instead of moving towards a solution to that pain, you are moving towards more pain. And that's what mostly happens when you're in pain for far too long. So the pain turns out to be something called the comfort zone of familiar pain. And the comfort zone of familiar pain is this tendency of staying in situations that cause pain or discomfort simply because we are so familiar with them. Like you stay in that pain because you're just familiar with them. It's a comfortable kind of discomfort. And the thing is, when something is familiar to us, there's always that element of stability, of course. There's that element of steadiness, that element of security attached to it because we know it. And these can happen when we become accustomed to, or when we become familiar with certain levels of pain or discomfort in our lives. And then we find it's easier to stay in that familiar pattern than even taking the steps to change our circumstances. So it's comfortable to stay in a familiar pattern than changing the circumstance. And the thing is, it can even be less painful to stay in pain than to explore the possibility of facing that pain. And I'm going to be sharing with you some examples to further dive into this. So an example is when you are used to being in an emotionally or a physically or a verbally abusive relationship, those painful feelings and thoughts have become familiar to you, like you've become used to them. So you will find yourself moving towards or gravitating towards relationships which have similar kind of effect in you. Relationship where you are subjected to abuse, rejection, invalidation because you are familiar with them. And the other thing is, those relationships bring a certain feeling of comfort because to the mind actually, it knows what to expect from the relationship. It knows what to expect from that abusive person. And knowing what to expect in itself brings an element of safety and security. Of course, it's a false sense of safety, but in that present moment when it's happening, it's safe. So those are the things that your mind has become so comfortable with because they are known. So in a sad and a twisted kind of way, that's what makes you feel safe in that present moment because at least you know what to expect. At least you know what to expect from that emotionally unavailable person. At least you know what to expect from that toxic relationship. Also, it's easier and less painful to anticipate pain than to face actual pain. When you deeply believe that, say, like you don't deserve a peace, you don't deserve peace in life, or you don't deserve a healthy kind of relationship, it may provide a false kind of consolation. This because the moment you get rejected or the moment you get hurt by someone or by those people, you will console yourself in quotes with thoughts like, at least I knew they would do that, or I expected nothing from them. Of course, I know there are many instances in life where you are hurt, but you console yourself that you knew you would get hurt so that you will not get hurt any further. Hope that makes sense. So, it's more like you are suffering on the inside, but you feel that you have it under control, and you even deceive yourself that you are not that hurt. And this can also be a state of being hypervigilant, or being on the lookout, or constantly on the lookout for threats, or constantly on the lookout for danger, or constantly anticipating danger so that you can face it. So you are always anticipating danger. Instead of living life, you are anticipating danger, because you know that if danger arises, you will face it. And one other thing about getting stuck with pain is it can be source of negative attention and validation. This is quite a common one. So we have this deep desire to feel valued, to feel understood, to feel heard, to feel appreciated. And this is often fulfilled by the attention we receive from others, the validation we receive from others. However, like, we may develop these beliefs that attention can only be gained, or we can only gain attention from others by experiencing problems or challenges, or by being in pain. And mostly this happens because of our childhood experiences. Let's say when you were a child, you only received attention from your caregivers or from your loved ones when you were in pain or when you were hurt. So let's say you broke your leg, you received your attention. You received the attention. Or you were hurt, you received, or you were sick, you received the attention. You didn't really receive healthy kind of attention. And the other thing in life, actually, this is so common. Like, nothing is more attention grabbing than when there is tragedy. Let's say when there's a funeral or someone has lost something, that's when people come and be with this person. So when we have this notion ingrained in our psyche that when you are in pain, you will get attention, you will hold on to your pain so as to fulfill your need for attention, even if it means receiving negative attention, because negative attention is still attention, and that's what we been conditioned with. So the only way to deal with pain is actually to process and release it. There is no other way. But of course, it's not easy, because your current perception of reality, or your current ego, or your current state of mind, it will always try to preserve itself. And the thing with pain is, when you stay with pain for a very long time, you start identifying yourself with the pain. And you might even think that it's just who you are. Like, I'm just used to pain, this is who I am. And most of this happens, of course, unconsciously. And the idea of breaking free from that stuck identity of being stuck in pain, will always scare you. And this is one of those reasons why you may find yourself either procrastinating, making excuses, or even ruining or self-sabotaging your attempts towards your healing. Even if I tell you that there's a free healing bootcamp and there's 100% success rate, you may not attend it, or you may not commit to it, because your mind just wants you to stay in that pain. This is because, like, your subconscious mind is just so convinced that you are much safer holding on to that pain than releasing it. Like, you are much safer holding on to that familiar pain than healing. So holding on to these false identities will keep you away from a life full of contentment and bliss. And if there is one thing you can take from this video, is only commitment and doing deeper inner work is the thing which will set you free. And you don't have to make pain as your home, because it's just imprisoning you and you need to break away from it. So you may feel that you are in pain deep inside, but you will find excuses and everything just not to break away from this pain, because it's so familiar to you, and to the mind, it's used to it. So it develops this kind of comfort zone, as we've discussed. So always work on yourself to break away from that, even when you don't feel like, because the mind will not feel like working on itself. It will not have the motivation to seek help, because those are just solid beliefs you've developed over your life. So if you are ready to break free from that prison of pain, or to process that past pain, you can always book a free breakthrough call with me. And this is for you if you are really committed and you really want to break free. You really are in this point of enough is enough, and you want to live a life of freedom. Hope you found that informative, guys. Have a nice day.